Well, I thought the first half, or at least the first exchanges between Ed Miliband and David Cameron, had a curiously shambolic character to them. And that was, I think, principally because David Cameron didn't really seem to know very much about Labour's policy on private rentals that was set out last week. And I can demonstrate to you that he didn't actually get the grasp of the question that Ed Miliband asked him initially at all. If you just watch the Prime Minister as he's getting to his feet here... You see, he turned to Nick Clegg. We'll just pause it there. He turned to Nick Clegg, who's on his right, so camera left, and he said, was that about rent controls, before proceeding to an answer that was somewhat lacking in detail. We'll play it for you again.
Well, I haven't had the time to study the rent control proposals, but I'm sure he'll be able to lay them out for the House.
And in the absence of a great deal of substance or a specific critique of Labour's policy, what David Cameron did is something that he is wont to do at Prime Minister's questions, which was to link it in to Labour's links with the trade unions, and specifically Unite.
Unite says let's have old-style rent controls. He wants old-style rent controls. The problem with rent controls is their policies are for rent, their candidates are for rent, and their leaders for rent. That's the problem.
There was a bit more that was potentially newsworthy and where there is very much a vexed issue on the second round of questioning, which was about the proposed takeover by Pfizer of AstraZeneca. And there, Ed Miliband was pressing on whether or not the Prime Minister and the Business Secretary would open up a new process to look into whether the public interest is served by this proposed takeover.
If he does not take action now and the bid goes through without a proper assessment, everyone will know he was cheerleading for this bid, not championing British science and British industry.
I think it is deeply sad that the Leader of the Opposition makes accusations about cheerleading when what the government was doing was getting stuck in to help British science, British investment and British jobs.
Now, the one other thing that we did see, as I suggested, was that interview in the Standard yesterday where Ed Miliband said that between myself and Cameron, I'm the one with much more intellectual self-confidence. David Cameron made glancing reference to that.
Of course, he thinks he's extremely clever, and we all know that, but he may have missed this point. Britain benefits massively from being open to investment.
But the funny thing was there was, particularly in the first half when they were talking about housing, a distinctly patronising air to the way in which David Cameron was addressing the Prime Minister, because he felt that David Cameron had not got the grip of Labour's policy at all.
All he shows is he has no idea about this incredibly important issue facing our country. Let me explain to him. There are 9 million people renting in this country. Our proposal is to say there should be fixed 3-year tenancies as the norm for those people with predictable rent.
That lecturing tone, I really thought Ed Miliband would steer clear of that this week, because he would know that it plays into the idea that he is patronising the Prime Minister. But, you see that, and those words, I look across the dispatch box and I think to myself, I'm the one with the intellectual self-confidence, where you watch that and you sense he really does believe that.